Hello and welcome to Security. Today we're going to be continuing the Microsoft Sentinel Honeypot project, and we're going to pick it up from where we stopped last time. So what we've done so far is we've exposed a virtual machine running on Azure to the internet, and we run a script that collects the log events for improper login attempts and passes it through an online API, and that in turn returns the geographic or geolocation data such as latitude, longitude, etc. And what this script writes this information to a file. So we've also created a custom log on Log Analytic Workspace on Azure that reads this file basically where the script is writing this information to, and logs the information from the virtual machine. So that's where we stopped in the last video. If you've not watched the video, this is a link to go watch it. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be training this custom log to automatically extract custom field from this raw data section of the collected events that it has collected from the VM. So we want each of the events to have to be collected into its own field. For example, latitude is going to be in its own field, longitude in its own field, destination host in its own field, and so on, so that we can now use this this newly extracted field, to map out this information in Microsoft Sentinel. So let's get right into it. So like I said, in order to map out this information, I need to first of all extract them into custom fields. So I'm training the custom log to recognize and extract this field by selecting it and giving it a label, and I click on extract. So it's going to try and identify it in the subsequent records, and what I'm going to do is scroll through it to confirm that it is correct. It is identifying it correctly. If it's not, I'll do some correction, and if it is, I'll just confirm by clicking on Save Extraction. Now that I am done with latitude, I'm going to take each of the other fields and repeat the same process for them one by one. It's quite a long process, so I'm going to fast forward through it. Okay, so now I'm done creating the fields, and if I go and run the query again for our field RDP with geo custom log, you'd see the fields show up, the fields I have created. It, however, doesn't pick out the fields from the log files that have already been collected. So it starts picking out these fields from each subsequent log event that's collected. So I just run it one more time to check, but so far it hasn't collected any new events yet. So I just give it some time to collect more events. But in case in the meantime you need to look at your custom field, you can click on custom logs you can see the custom fields that you generated in case you need to delete or edit any of them. Okay, so just noticed I made a mistake for the longitude and latitude fields. The field type is supposed to be numeric and not text. So I'm just going to edit those fields. I think same for the timestamp where the um, field type is supposed to be date time. So I'll just quickly edit those fields. Okay, so now I'm done, and you can see the longitude and latitude have numeric field type, and the timestamp has datetime field type. So while we're waiting for the logs to show up, I'll just run the script one more time. So now I'm back in the virtual machine, and I'm going to run the script one more time to see if we're getting attacks from a different location right now. So it seems we're still getting the same attack from the Philippines. Someone is trying to brute force into the machine using the username administrator. I think it's just trying different passwords from the Philippines. So what I'm gonna do is also try to using my local machine to try some improper login attempts as well into the system, just to give it another location attempt from another location, since we're not getting attempt from other locations right now. And yeah, I'm just gonna try different accounts and different passwords to give it some variety, basically. So now just let it run a little while longer, and then I'll stop the script again because I have limited API calls. So I'm gonna stop the script, and I'll just wait a little while and then go back to my log analytics workspace. So back at the log analytics workspace, I run the query again, and if you observe now, you can see that we have the fields being automatically pulled out of the logs. The longitude, we have the longitude, we have the timestamp, the latitude, the country, etc. The username, destination host. These custom fields that were created are being pulled out from the raw data field automatically by the custom log generator. So now that we have our custom log being able to extract this field automatically, we can go to Microsoft Sentinel, run analytics, and display it in a map, basically. So we can, for example, run an analytic to display any results that we require. For example, like now we need to run an analytic that displays all failed login attempts. And yeah, so rather than display it in a table or in a chart format, we'll set it to display in a map format. And we're also going to set it to auto refresh, so that with the addition of new events, it is refreshed to display those as well. Okay, so now we'll return to Microsoft Sentinel, and we'll click on our log analytics workspace, and we're going to click on workbooks, click on add workbook, and we'll remove these templates that come with it automatically. Just click on the ellipsis and remove. So those are like default queries that are added to a new workbook, but we don't need those. We're going to add our own query. So we just click on add query. Then we'll type in our own query for what we want to be displayed in our own workbook. I'm going to type out the query. I'll leave it in the description if you want to copy and paste if you're following along. It's a long query, so I'm just going to fast forward while I type it. So I'm just going to run the query. And it says there's an issue with the country custom field. So I'll probably have to redo the country custom field. But for now, since I am actually just going to try and map out using the longitude and latitude field, I'm going to take out the country custom field and just run the query one more time. So now the query runs successfully, or at least the first part. What I'm actually doing is I'm taking it step by step, taking the query step by step, such that if there is an issue, I'll be able to isolate wherever there was an issue. So right now, all I've done is summarize the results into different fields, and it's displaying it by default in a tabular form. So now I'll add the second part of the query, and this is to take out the sample records that were used to train the log collector. The sample records that were added automatically by the script to the log file. So to remove this information, I add the lines where destination host is not equals to sample host. This takes out every event where the destination host is sample host, and I add also where source host is not equal to an empty string. So this takes out events where there's an empty string as source host. So now that we have the result of our query, all that's left is visualization. I'm going to set it to map. I'm going to leave it as the default longitude / latitude. For my latitude, I'm going to select my latitude custom field, and longitude, I'm going to select my longitude custom field. And then I leave every other setting as default and click on apply. Now we have the source of improper login attempts being, or failed login attempts being mapped out or shown on the map. However, you can say it's not being properly displayed because I know I have some attempts from Canada, but I think it's being displayed in Europe. And this happens with this latitude setting on Sentinel at times, and it usually gets resolved when you repeat the process several times. However, since this is just a demo and I'm not really particular about the exact location, I'm just going to redo the country custom field and use that instead. Okay, so now that the country custom field is redone, I'll return to Sentinel, and in my query, I'm going to add in the country custom field so that that is returned as well. So I type in country and use a comma, and I'll rerun my query. Okay, I think I made a mistake. It's supposed to be country custom field. So I'll add that in and rerun the query. Okay, so now the query works, and I'm going to go to map settings and redisplay. So before I do that, let me just retry running it one more time with the longitude and latitude and see if I get something different or a more accurate result. So I click on apply, and I'm still getting the same inaccurate location. So this could be an issue with the API as well. But what I'm just going to do is use the country or region to map it out instead. And for the field, I select my country CF and apply. And now we have the accurate results. The attempts from Canada in yellow, the attempts from Russia in red, and the attempts from the Philippines in green. So right now, the label is displaying the value for latitude, but I can change it to longitude as I've done now, and whatever I want to display basically with the map. But what I'm gonna do is put it there, put it to display the count of each event, so I know what how many failed login attempts I'm getting from each location. So that's what I'm gonna do. To do that, I just select the metric value, select event count, and click on apply. And now you can see I have 127 events from the Philippines, 91 events from Russia, and 2 events from Canada in total. So now I can close the map settings and also I can change the size as well to full size so I can see it more clearly. So this is our map displaying failed login attempts, remote login attempts onto our virtual machine running on Azure. And we have the number of each total number of each event by country as well. So I'll save my map as a workbook and I'll give it a name. I give it a name failed RDP map and save. Then I click on done editing. So next I would set the map to refresh automatically after every 5 minutes, so that when new events are added to my log, my custom log, this new event are also displayed on the map as well. So now I'll pause the video while I run the script again, then I'll come back after some time. So now I'm back and we can see now that we still have the same number of events from the Philippines and Canada, but we have 322 events now from Russia, which means that someone is actively trying to log on to the VM from Russia. So what I'm going to do now is edit the display again, because the size of the circles basically do not accurately reflect the number of events. So I'm going to check the map settings, and here where it says size by, I'll select event count. I think right now it's being sized by latitude, so I'll apply, and now you can see the size of the circles accurately represent the number of events. So now I'll pause the video again, run the script again, and come back after some time. Okay, so now we're back and we're still seeing the attempts from the Philippines and Canada not increasing, but the number of events from Russia is still increasing, which means someone is still actively trying to log on to the VM from Russia. So now I paused the video again and restarted it, and still we're getting the same result. The attempt from Russia keeps increasing, and that's what I kept on getting. So just to confirm that there was no issue with my setup, I did some manual attempts again from my local laptop, and I was able to and as you can see, I was able to get those events in as well. So the issue isn't that my setup wasn't working properly. The issue is that we're just getting login attempts from Russia at the moment, active login attempt from Russia at the moment. So I'm sure if I leave on the setup for a while, maybe 1 or 2 days, and come back, we'll get login attempts from other countries, especially when my system has been exposed for long on the internet. It will probably have been discovered by different malicious actors and bots and botnets and the likes. But because this is a demo, I'm just going to stop it here. So basically, this is the end of our lab. We've successfully mapped out failed RDP remote login attempts onto our VM that we've exposed on the internet. And yeah, there's limitless possibilities. You can map out also successful login attempts if you want. You can map out successful network connections. You can map out basically whatever you want just by editing the script, the um, custom log, or the the query that you're running in Sentinel. So now we're basically done with the lab. And so ensure that you don't get any unnecessary charges. You need to delete the whole setup. So since I put everything in a resource group, I'm just going to go to resource groups, delete the whole resource group. So to do that, you need to type in the name of the resource group and you click on delete. And once you do that, everything that you added to the resource group is automatically deleted. So resource groups are really helpful towards managing your cloud resources. You can take down a whole cloud setup with just a click of a button rather than having to remove them one after the other. So as usual, if you're enjoying this content or it has been helpful to you, please like and subscribe to support my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I will get across to them as soon as possible. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.